satisfaction in instruction, research, extension, reduction in dynamic, administrative support, and to continuously improve its QMS processes to satisfy all applicable requirements. Excellent products and services to ensure total stakeholder satisfaction in instruction, research, extension, reduction in dynamic, administrative support, and to continuously improve its QMS processes to satisfy all applicable requirements. The URS commits to deliver excellent products and services to ensure total stakeholder satisfaction in instruction, research, extension, reduction in dynamic, administrative support, and to continuously improve its QMS processes to satisfy all applicable requirements. The URS commits to deliver excellent products and services to ensure total stakeholder satisfaction in instruction, research, extension, reduction in dynamic, administrative support, and to continuously improve its QMS processes to satisfy all applicable requirements. satisfaction in instruction, research, extension, reduction in dynamic, administration. administrative support, and to continuously improve its QMS processes to satisfy all applicable requirements. The URS commits to deliver excellent products and services to ensure total stakeholder satisfaction in construction, research, extension, production, and dynamic administrative support, and to continuously improve its QMS processes to satisfy all applicable requirements. The URS commits to deliver excellent products and services to ensure total stakeholder satisfaction in construction, research, extension, production, and dynamic administrative support, and to continuously improve its QMS processes to satisfy all applicable requirements.
one and all. Today, we are blessed and grateful that we are gathered for an important event as regards our protection in the cyberspace. As such, stipulated in the Republic Act number 10173, the state recognizes the vital role of information and communications technology in nation building and its inherent obligation to ensure that personal information in the information and communications system in the government and in the private sector are secured and protected. I am Professor Reyna R. Miranda from the University of the Philippines, from the University of Rizal System, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, in partnership of the University of Rizal System, conducts this webinar on cybersecurity awareness. As part of the implementation of the fourth pillar of the National Cybersecurity Plan 2022 NCSP, which is the protection of each individual, this webinar aims to raise the level of awareness of the public on the importance of cybersecurity, help educate, empower, and protect the individuals in the cyberspace. Please be guided and reminded that this webinar is recorded for documentation purposes and will be posted on YouTube or Facebook. Turn off your microphone and camera. Do not share your screen or do any annotations. Observe proper decorum and etiquette. Use the chat box or Q&A form, https://bit.ly/du-qa-cyberdigipar. Certificates will be provided to those who have attended the full duration of webinar and answered the post-evaluation form. Input valid and active email address when filling out the post-evaluation form. Cut-off time is tomorrow at 4:00 p.m. Live stream or replay at URL http://www.youtube.com/cyberseclc2/. So we acknowledge our participants. In doing so, please have the attendance form filled out on https://bit.ly/du-att-cyber. The Department of Information and Communications Technology, DICT, shall be the primary policy, planning, coordinating, implementing, and administrative entity of the executive branch of the government that will plan, develop, and promote the National ICT Development Agenda, RA 10844. The programs and the projects are as follows: Free Wi-Fi for All, Government Emergency Communication System, DICT, Digital TV Philippines, Tech for Ed, National Broadband Plan, National Cybersecurity Plan 2022, EBPLS, Central Business Portal, Philippine National PKI, Digital PH, National Government Portal, gov.ph. The University of Rizal System mission. The University of Rizal System is committed to nurture and produce upright and competent graduates and empowered community through relevant and sustainable higher professional and technical instruction, research extension, and production services. To start the program, May I invite everyone to participate with all eyes and ears, and let us now listen to our respectable and able Director of DICT Luzon, Regional Cluster 2, Engineer Reynaldo T.C.
Natutuwa kami at nakikita namin na binibigyan na ng kahalagahan ang ligtas sa pag-internet. With this COVID-19 pandemic, talagang na-emphasize ang paggamit ng ating ICT at internet. Mula umaga hanggang gabi na computer na karamihan sa atin. Hindi lang tayo, pati ating mga kabataan, lalong-lalo ng mga estudyante. Dahil na siguro sa online classes na ni-impose ng DepEd at JED. However, it also increases our risk of cyber attack and even cyberbullying sa ating mga estudyante. Hindi talaga natin may iwasan na mag-take advantage ng ICT for their own purposes. Nandiyan ang hacking, phishing, ransomware, identity theft, and even viruses. Even yung pag-hijack ng mga devices like automatic na nakaka-capture ng pictures and videos without us knowing it. That's why most companies are strictly imposing and implementing cybersecurity protocol, like setting up firewalls, strict virus updates, and even pag-whitelist ng mga website na pwede puntahan ng mga kanilang staff. And even to the point na pagbawal ng mga input devices like USB and storage devices. However, even the most secured network, there is still possibility na ma-compromise pa yung network. Madalas, nakalimutan ng security protocol at meron pa mga nag-VPN para makaiwas sa mga blacklisted site. The bad part is, kung na-compromise ang isa, halos kakalat sa network at mako-compromise na ang lahat. We are at risk not only of COVID pandemic, but also at risk of cyber pandemic that could wreak havoc to our system and also to our personal devices. Hindi dahil may internet, ay click ka na lang ng click. Especially pag nasa public internet. This is the reason why we are here today. We need to inform the public on the effect of cyber attack and cybercrime, because all of us are at risk. We need to be vigilant and mindful of what we are doing in the cyber landscape. We should be on guard with what we are doing, especially if we are online. We hope that after this webinar, we can all be totally confident and safe in exploring the cyber landscape. Be informed, be safe. Think before you click.
Thank you, Engineer C, for that. At this point, we will be hearing another message from our handsome and dynamic Director of University of Rizal System, Dr. Alan E. Conde.
To our University President, Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, to the Director of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Luzon Regional Cluster 2, none other than Engineer Reynaldo T.C., and of course to Mr. Carlo Gabriel Abad from the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Rizal Provincial Office, to laboratory school principals from URS Morong and URS Tanay Main Campus, Professor Sinya B. Canale and Professor Wilmer I. Villa, to Engineer Marvin S. Bakiran, the head of URS Management Information System, to our resource speakers who will be properly introduced later. Dear parents, faculty and students, ladies and gentlemen, warm greetings to everyone. In these times of pandemic and at all times, we must practice protecting ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But with the advent of digital environment, where everything can be processed on our fingertips with different systems, networks, and programs, we must be aware from different digital attacks, accessing, changing, or destroying our sensitive information, extorting money from users, or interrupting normal business processes. With this, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and pride of the Department of Information and Communications Technology and the University of Rizal System in its collaborative effort to deliver its webinar on cybersecurity awareness. Please be with us in this very important activity, protecting ourselves from digital attacks. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day to all at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you, our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Alan E. Conde, for that insightful message. Now, we will listen to our beloved and blessed University President, Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, for her message.
To our resource speaker, Engineer Maria Sinag P. Abelio, to the DICT Luzon Regional Cluster 2 Director, Engineer Reynaldo T.C., to Mr. Carlo Gabriel Abad from the DICT Rizal Provincial Office, to the URS Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Alan E. Conde, to the Head of the Management Information System of URS, Engineer Marvin Bakiran, to the Principal of the Laboratory Schools, URS Morong, Professor Sinya B. Canale, to the Principal of the Laboratory Schools, URS Tanay, Professor Wilmer I. Bilia, to the participants to this webinar, good morning. Whether we like it or not, we are now living in a highly technical world. Slowly but surely, we shall migrate to the virtual world for almost all transactions in our day-to-day lives. From paying bills to enrollment in schools, we are becoming more and more dependent on technology. As we transition to a virtual community, we are also faced with new emerging threats in the form of cybercrimes and cyber attacks. It is therefore imperative that we act and respond accordingly to such threats. We must prepare ourselves so we can safeguard our privacy and data integrity. Our identity and security is at stake. Thus, we must ensure that we are aware of the potential threats and the possible measure we can employ to protect ourselves. This webinar on cybersecurity is indeed very timely, especially during this time of pandemic. COVID-19 forced us to drastically employ online platforms in lieu of face-to-face interactions. To the organizers of this webinar, the Department of Information and Communication Technology, thank you for spearheading such an important awareness drive. This will truly be of great use to all of us. To our resource speaker, thank you in advance for allotting time from your busy schedule to share with our participants the necessary information on the subject matter. To the participants, I hope that you take this opportunity to gain more perspectives on cybersecurity to better protect yourselves and your institutions in the future. Once again, good morning everyone, and God bless us all.
Thank you to our President, Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, for that discerning and prudent message. At this time, again, we welcome you all to our webinar on cybersecurity awareness. Our resource speaker is a registered electronics and communications engineer from the University of Santo Tomas. She has 14 years of professional experience in field of telecommunication and technology with skills focused on project implementation management, pre-sales engineering and consulting. Before joining the government, she worked in the private sector as customer solutions engineer and configuration management specialist, conceptualizing project proposals for network design expansions, managing last mile build out and system integration installations to clients. She joined the government as an information technology officer, one of the then DOST ICPO DICT in 2016, and held various concurrent roles as OIC, provincial head of Nueva Ecija, regional project focal for electronic business permits and licensing system, and regional project focal for Philippine National Public Key Infrastructure. Currently, she is the Information Technology Officer 1 of the Critical Infrastructure Evaluation and Cybersecurity Standards Monitoring Division of the DICT Cybersecurity Bureau. Let us now welcome and give a warm round of applause to Engineer Maria Sinad P. Abelio.
Hello, I hope everyone can hear me. By the way, Ms. Reyna Miranda, thank you for the wonderful introduction. Medyo, ano po siya, mahaba lang po. Welcome po sa ating cybersecurity awareness program. We are invited because we wanted to give awareness for our school, sa mga SUCs natin, and as well as to those who are watching this this webinar through the YouTube. I think we're also live in Facebook. I'm not sure, pero you can see naman din the replay of this webinar through those mga social media sites. Now, bakit tayo nagganito is because on the National Cybersecurity Plan of 2022, one of the imperatives of NCSP is to give awareness. That's the fourth key imperative of the NSC, National Cybersecurity Plan of 2022. So, let me share you my slides. I hope you will stick with us until the end of this webinar. And I hope I could impart some of tips from you regarding the awareness and also how to be cyber safe through this pandemic. So, okay. I hope everybody can see my slides. Can you please confirm kahit sa chat na lang if you're able to see the slides? Okay, sige po. Thank you, Carlo. Thank you everyone for confirming. So, yung presentation ko po is not really technical in terms of the content, but parang we would like to target as many audience as possible. So this parang it's only a cybersecurity 101, so basic, but there are some things that we need to learn, like for example, sino yung mga cyber threat actors natin and what are their weapons of choice when it comes in terms of cyber attack. So, okay. So, okay. So, ito nga po, nung normal tayo, we were forced, the usual way that we do our classes, our work, our jobs, lahat, pumapasok tayo lahat sa opisina, pumapasok tayo sa eskwelahan. But dahil nga sa COVID-19 pandemic, we were forced to put our lives to contain it on our homes. So I'll be presenting you some of the statistics that what drives yung ating yung nangyari ng pandemic and ano yung mga points of na kung saan tayo pwedeng dapat i-safeguard natin yung mga sarili natin. So these statistics are we got the statistics from Hootsuite, We Are Social. On the Philippines perspective, the device ownership of January 2021, the percentage of internet users from ages 16 to 64, they owned 98.5% of smartphones na. And then noting is also the ownership of the laptop or desktop computers, which I think this rose about around 15% from the past year ng January 2020. So it rose, ang laki kagad ng impact, no? So ang laptop, almost 80% meron na tayong laptop or desktop, and almost 100% of the Filipinos have at least in the age 16 to 64, they own a smartphones, no? And then also noting for it is yung tablet device. I think this was around 22% from last year. It rose to 33.2%. So, ito yung mga devices na gamit natin ngayon when we do our online study or online work. So, ito yung mga dapat natin pag-ingatan. Now, noong 2021, my data is from 2021, the daily time spent on media, daily average time that we spent on internet is around 11 hours. So, it's almost half of our lives na nasa internet tayo ngayon. And then, for those 11 hours, we spend watching or streaming mga 3.5 hours of our 11 hours. And then we spend 4 hours and 15 minutes on social media. So all in all, by just watching YouTube, streaming Netflix, and doing social media, we spent, of those 11 hours, we spent around 7 to 8 hours doing those activities. And ngayon, nagkakaroon tayo ng surge of activities when listening to music streaming services like Spotify. Probably the time spent listening to podcasts will also be on a rise. Then there is also a trend in listening to podcasts. So, and then let's put on yung ating mga traffic na pinupuntahan when you use the internet, no? I have three captures ng mga CEO companies, yung mga ating mga best CEO, basta sa traffic. I forgot. I'm sorry. So, this was captured by December 2020. And search engine optimization, yun pala, I'm sorry. So, this was captured on December 2020 via SEMrush. It's a CEO company. So, makikita ninyo on the top 5 websites that we visit, according to SEMrush, is Google, Facebook, YouTube, Wikipedia. Medyo off lang yung Pornhub.com, but going diving deeper is nandito si Twitter, nandito si Lazada, nandito si google.com.ph, si Instagram, si Shopee, and si Roblox, si Reddit, si ABS-CBN, and Inquirer.net. So, kung makikita ninyo, sa top 5 natin, makikita naman natin kung ano yung activities natin on the internet. Now, popular din ang activity natin sa internet, and online shopping din tayo. Kaya meron, on the top 9 is nandyan si Lazada, on the top 13 is nandyan si Shopee.ph. Now, another CEO company, which is SimilarWeb, they have also their statistics on they also have their statistics. So nakikita na naman natin the top 5 ng ating binivisit is Google, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Messenger. And then we're noting on the number 9 is Shopee, number 10 is Instagram, number 11 is Lazada. So nandun yung trend na meron tayong may component din ng online shopping. And then Wikipedia nandyan din. Netflix, nandun yung trend na nag-stream tayo ng mga videos. Zoom, surprisingly, nandyan po yung Zoom. Actually, it's not a surprise anymore because when we had nung na-lockdown tayo last year, nagkaroon ng rise dun sa activities natin sa Zoom. Also, these are the traffic analyzed by Alexa. It's an Amazon company. So, may kita na naman natin yung number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Google, YouTube, ABS-CBN, Inquirer.net, Facebook. So, laging nandun sa top 3 si Google, si YouTube, si Facebook. And then, of course, parang nakukuha nga natin yung sa mga media outlets natin like ABS-CBN, Inquirer.net, GMAnetwork.com. So, these are yung mga top news websites natin na kinukuha natin ng news. Nandito na naman si Shopee, nandito na naman si Lazada. So, there is a trend on the online shopping as well. And then Netflix, nandyan din yung trend niya na nagsistream tayo ng mga YouTube. Wikipedia.org because most probably our students have been using the Wikipedia.org as their reference sa mga pag-aaral natin. Even also siguro mga nagtatrabaho, they use also Wikipedia.org. Nandito na naman si Zoom at 14 at the spot number 14, and then si Rappler, si Amazon, nandyan siya because of si Alexa. Alexa is a Amazon, nakakabit siya doon sa Amazon umbrella. And then Roblox, Reddit. So what does it mean? Nakikita na natin yung activity natin, and why lagi natin kumbaga, ito yung mga pinupuntahan natin On a Philippine setting, ito yung mga pinupuntahan natin. And so, dun sa mga pinupuntahan natin, like si social media websites, si video streaming websites, nandun lahat ng data natin. So, our data is more valuable than oil and is most expensive asset in the world. So if nandun yung ating data, dun din nagtatrive yung mga cyber criminals natin or yung mga cyber threat actors din natin. If you have watched yung sa Netflix, The Social Dilemma, yung product kasi na binibenta online is not the commodity nowadays. We are the commodity. Our data is the commodity na. That the advertisers are paying as much as dun sa mga behaviors natin. So, kailangan dapat maano natin yung behavior natin when we are using the internet. So, maganda yung, siguro kung if you have time, maybe this long weekend, you may watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. So, tignan natin naman ngayon kung ano yung mga cyber attacks of 2020. We've listed around 3 for this. Pero if you can see dun sa reference natin, which is yung isaka.org, they have listed around, I think, mga 5 or 6 or 7 yatang mga cyber attacks. These are the top cyber attacks of 2020. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. So, yung may nilist lang ako, kumuha lang kasi ako ng very notable na mga cyber attacks. So, last April of 2020, Finastra, they have reported yung Finastra ransomware attack. So, sino ba si Finastra? Finastra is a fintech bank operating in the fintech industry. And then they have customers around 130, and then they have reported a ransomware attack on its servers. And then paano ba siya naka-recover dun sa cyber attack niya? Ang sabi dun sa report is yung si Finastra is meron siyang mga backup dun sa mga sensitive files niya. So they were able to restore yung mga sensitive data kasi di ba ang ransomware attack is when na-attack ka ng ransomware, ini-encrypt niya yung mga data mo. And then, kukontakin ka nung cyber threat actor na yon na they demand a payment for it to be able to decrypt all your sensitive information. But because of they have a proper backup on dun sa kanilang mga files, they were able to restore those files without even parang di sila nag-aano dun sa attacker, sa ransomware attacker. Also, I think most of us we were able to get this on news. The Zoom app, they took so much of parang paninira before because when nung nag-pandemic kasi Zoom, hindi natin kilala si Zoom at that time. So naging popular siya when we were forced to get our work dun sa bahay, from the office nilagay natin sa bahay, from the school nilagay natin sa bahay. So naging popular siya para lang magkaroon tayo ng parang face-to-face sessions, lalo na sa mga classes. Now, the Zoom app, because konti lang yung customer niya at that time, hindi niya pinag-intingan yung cybersecurity ng seriously. So, siguro naman narinig niyo sa mga news before na kung ano po kahit ni Mayor Vico Soto, parang meron silang interview with a media news outlet through Zoom, and then may pumasok na lang bigla na nakahubad-hubad na So, yun yung na hindi nila masyadong pinapansin before yung encryption ng Zoom app, but then what they did is they employed a lot of cybersecurity experts to harden their systems. dun sa Zoom app. So I suggest that you update your apps when you have, para pag may narinig kayong update from the Zoom. So, okay. And then lastly, ito yung pinakamalala on the 2020 cyber attacks. So yung SolarWinds, if you're familiar with SolarWinds, the SolarWind Orion, the attack is on a supply chain management. So pagka sa supply chain management kasi, dikit-dikit kasi yung mga systems niyan. So hindi nila na-detect agad because nag-alert lang yung malware doon and then ini-spread out niya sa lahat kasi dugtong-dugtong yung mga system nila, yung mga database nila. Nakita nila na parang this attack is medyo on the level of cyber espionage na. Yung meaning cyber espionage, I'll discuss it later, na parang very massive yung kanyang destruction and hanggang ngayon hindi pa rin nila fully nakaka-recover. So siguro we'll have to research on that kung ano nang balita about dun sa mga SolarWind attacks. Now, so ito na po ngayon is the question is because of this attacks, the question is not if you're going to be a victim. Kasi nandito na lahat eh. But ang tanong is, kailan tayo magiging biktima? When are you going to be a victim? So, ano ko lang, cybersecurity, I have a definition of cybersecurity here. It was referring to the ITU definition. Also, our definition of cybersecurity here is adapted dun sa ating National Cybersecurity Plan of 2022. So, this cybersecurity plan, cybersecurity, the definition niya is a collection of tools, policy, security concepts, security safeguards, guidelines, risk management approaches, action, training, best practices, assurance, and technologies that can be used to protect the cyber environment and organization and user asset. Marami, no? Pero ang ibig sabihin lang naman yan, on a simpler term, is ano yung capability and readiness natin for the attacks against our technology, our society, our processes. So, yun yung, kumbaga dun sa mahabang binasa ko kanina, yun yung parang simplest form na pwede nating matandaan is our capability. What is our capability and readiness for these attacks against our technology? So yun po. And then the first step, syempre kasi when we have these threats and we have this notion of awareness, the first step kasi na kailangan natin maprotektahan natin yung ating mga sarili is to know what we are protecting ourselves from. Sabi nga dun sa, if you have read the book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu is a, parang ano siya tawag dito, wise man from China na he is a general. So, meron siyang mga points doon, may mga insights siya about how to engage in a war. So, number one na dun sa kanyang mga doctrine is that you have to know yourself before you engage in the war. And also, you have to know your enemy as well. So, if you know your enemy, you know, and then you know yourself, you can be able to maximize your panalo, yung ano ba tawag dito, yung victory mo dun sa mag-engage siya ng war. So sige, mag-dive into detail na tayo. So the cyber attack is a deliberate exploitation of computer systems, technology dependent enterprise and networks. So sometimes, or most of the time, these cyber attacks, they usually use malicious code to alter computer code. But sometimes, hindi lang lagi computer ang cyber attack. There can be also a social engineering component on that one. We'll discuss it later kung ano yung mga social engineering na yan. So, they use malicious code and they alter computer code, logic, data, resulting to disruptive consequence that can compromise data and lead to cyber crimes, such as information and identity theft. So, ito yung mga kailangan nating pangalagaan, yung our data, and then our information. Okay, moving forward. So, paano ba natin mapaprotektahan yung mga sarili natin ng mga cyber attacks na yan? So, we have to know kung sino yung mga kalaban natin. Kumbaga sa isang game nga di ba? We have to know, di ba, isang RPG game siya. We have to know kung anong type ng kalaban natin na yun and kung ano yung selected weapon of choice nila. So, I have listed here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cyber threat actors. Some of them, hindi naman talaga sila ganun ka-destructive, pero konting mali, human error, they can be as destructive as yung sa mga pinakam-grabing mga cyber threat actors natin. So, number 1 is the internal user errors. These are not really, these cyber threat actors is not really malicious in nature or kumbaga parang mild lang. Hindi nga talaga sila hindi nga sila mild nandyan lang sila. Pero because of human error, they could cause a lot of damage. And their damage can be massive on those systems. Siguro one example is yung mga employees sa mga companies, like lalo na sa mga power companies. Let's say kunwari they're working on the substation of yung mga Meralco, yung mga electric cooperatives natin, and then they're manning the substation. And then, nagkamali lang sila, nakapulot sila ng USB, sinaksak nila dun sa computer nila dun sa manning the substation, nandun pala yung malware. Hindi naman nila, hindi naman nila na ma-attack sila, but because of negligence and siguro unaware sila of that particular attack, nagkaroon ng massive damage. So, nung sinaksak niya, nagkaroon ng malware, naapektuhan yung internal yung mga industrial control system nila, nag-shutdown lahat, nagkaroon ng shutdown yung substation, kaya nawalan tayo ng kuryente. So, yun yung mga massive attacks na pwedeng mangyari because of human error and negligence. Now, number 2 is yung script kiddies. These are not skilled hackers. These script kiddies, ang nila is, they are usually siguro mga students sila na nag-aral ng programming, and then they get a code from the internet. Popular dyan is yung GitHub. And then, siguro dahil curious sila how it works, then niran nila yung code na yan, not knowing that this code is malicious enough to shut down yung network or shut down yung mga systems. Now, how can we avoid yung mga ganito? So, kailangan dapat mag-set up tayo ng virtual environment, or we have to isolate them dun sa network para, let's say, may maran sila ng code, at least isolated na yung case, hindi na sila makaka-affect ng damage dun sa network pa. Also, number 3 is yung insiders. These are like parang mga internal user errors, but these insiders are company company employees sila, that they wanted to they wanted to malign, or they wanted to tawag dito, parang gusto nilang mag-infiltrate towards dun sa mga cyber threat actors. Like, for example, they would like to have a nasty threat. They would like to delete some of the sensitive information. And then they also parang dinavandalize nila yung mga company's asset, like for example, the computers that they use. So may ano rin dun may kailangan din tayo na pag-iingat, because on an incident management perspective, if your asset or yung asset natin is yung mga laptop natin, they need to have parang mga policies or protection dun sa mga devices din natin. Number 4 is yung hacktivists. These are motivated by ideological activism. Mostly, these hacktivists, hindi naman sila talaga, they do not want to cause damage dun sa mga system. Like for example, websites. Hindi naman nila gustong madami siyang isang website, but they wanted to expose the truth, and then let's say kunwari these are backed by political idealism, meron silang gustong iparating na message, but they're not really that what they call this, damaging. Sometimes these activists, they wanted to prove a point na they have hacked their system. Parang they're putting out the message na kailangan nyong harden nyo pa yung system because napasok ko. Parang ano lang siya, nag-a-alert siya sa atin . Pero kung backed by idealism sila, medyo delikado din sila na lalo na sa mga website na diniface nila, na parang they're putting out the message out there na nahack na nga nila yung system, and then may ganito pang lumalabas. Number 5 is the organized crime, the cyber criminals. Ito naman yung mga, they wanted to steal sensitive data and personal information for their financial gain. So, nabanggit ko na nga kanina yung ransomware attack, how it works. They encrypt your personal information, the personal or sensitive data, and then nagpo-post sila na give us as this much as money, i-decrypt namin sila. Be aware also do sa mga ransomware attacks na yan, na sometimes the attackers could, hindi siya ransomware wiper, may tinatawag tayo na wiperware, na kung saan ini-encrypt na yung data pero binuburan niya na as the time goes by. Kahit nagbayad ka na, naburan niya na yung data niya. And then lastly is the state-sponsored. These are funded, directed, or sponsored by nation. Medyo nag-ano na tayo, tumataas na siya on a cyber espionage. So, kung sa gera, we had parang briefing session with one of our, di ko nasasabihin kung anong country, no? So, pinakita niya sa amin na tawag dito, the cost of engaging in a war, let's say na nuclear war, ito yung time and money na gagastusin mo. But when you engage in a cyber attack or a cyber war, you have, ito yung mababa, parang low yung money and time mo, pero massive yung turnout niya. So sometimes, kung makikita ninyo, if you have yung mga cyber threat maps, I think you can Google it. I think one of them is FireEye. Makikita ninyo, may cyber threat map yan. Tapos may ano yan tawag dito, from US, inatake niyo yung China, from from Australia, inatake niya si US, mga ganon. Pero parang pinapakita lang nila na ito yung mga threats na involved around the world ngayon. Not necessarily na tawag dito, na leading to war, but it is to know na tawag dito, maaari tayong ma-engage din sa mga ganitong klaseng cyber threat attacks. Okay? Moving forward. So, sabi nga natin, ito yung mga cyber threat actors natin. Now, syempre may mga weapon of choice yan, mga cyber threat actors natin. Ang common cyber threats, yung mga weapons nila is yung malware. So, tanong ko nga sa chat na lang po, sino sa palagay ninyo ang gumagamit ng malware as their weapon of choice dun sa mga cyber threat actors na na-describe ko kanina? So, sige po. Kahit sa chat na lang, para lang malaman ko kung nakikinig pa po ba kayo doon sa aking pinipresent ngayon. Anyone? Anyone? Parang wala yata nakinig ngayon Okay, sabi ni Celestial, J. Mark, Script Kiddies, Yossi, Jason, Cybercriminals, any other else? Sino pa po? So, malware is, yes. Okay. So, malwares are common weapon of the cybercriminals. Tama po kayo. What about hacking? So, ano yung hacking? Sino sa palagay ninyo ang weapon of choice niya ay hacking? Anyone? Cybercriminals pa rin? Yes, pwede. Pwede, cybercriminals, hacking. Script kiddies can also be yung weapon of choice niya, but not as much as the hacktivists, yung hacking na yan. So, yan, tama si Joy Cruz, hacktivists, yung weapon of choice yung hacking is the weapon of choice of the hacktivist is hacking. The cybercriminals, yes, pero at a minimum level, hacking is a weapon of choice of the hacktivists. Okay. And then social engineering. Do you know what social engineering is? The social engineering is a psychology manipulation of people performing actions or divulging confidential information. Let's say, for example, they trick you in giving you your passwords, or they have hacked a CCTV camera, and then they may makita sila around your environment na may nakapost pala dun sa whiteboard ninyo lahat ng mga username and passwords. So they have naka-gain tuloy sila na access doing that. Or they trick the person, like for example, if you have watched yung video ni Jimmy Kimmel na they walk through the streets of Hollywood and then they ask a random person to give their password. Syempre hindi bibigay ng random person yung password niya. But because of yung tuloy-tuloy na interrogation, yung tuloy-tuloy na questioning and probing of the interviewer, na kuha niya yung password nung mga tinatanong niya, nung mga random people na yun. So, okay, these are the common cyber threat attacks, but we also have other cyber threat attacks. So, ransomware, nabanggit ko na to kanina. These are they typically encrypt your data, and they demand a payment for the ransom data to be decrypted and to be returned to the victim. Pero let us be aware na sometimes this data that they have encrypted baka hindi na bumalik sa'yo. So, on the ransomware. Sino palagay ninyo? Sino yung gumagamit nitong ransomware? Sa palagay nila. So anyone from the chat box? By the way, ang nakikita ko lang na chat is yung nasa Google Meet. So usually the ransomware is a weapon of choice of the cyber criminals kasi they demand a payment. The cyber criminals, they have kumbaga parang they infiltrate a system, they cause damage to the system for their financial gain. So ganun nag-ooperate yung mga cyber criminals natin. Also, number 2, man-in-the-middle attack. So this attack is when an attacker is intercept the communication between two parties to eavesdrop yung conversation or to deny the traffic between the two. So yung attacker na to, they use MITM attacks to steal log information and credentials of personal information, spy on the victim, and sabotage communication or corrupt data. So I have a video how they do demonstrate yung man in the middle attack. They use a router to sniff yung information na yon. So if I can share it to you. So let's see, okay? I'm gonna share it to you. Okay, this is a man in the middle attack. So let's see. May naririnig kayong audio? Can you confirm it to the
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sige
Yes,
po.
ma'am.
Thank you. So I'll continue to play this.
Mike Sasanskin from SINAC. You're going to show us how easy it is to hack into a computer. So this is my personal computer.
So in this attack, we will pretend to be a wireless access point that you normally connect to, let's say, in a hotel. So if you go in there, you try to log into something called Four Seasons Guest.
Okay.
As you'd expect, it's, the Wi-Fi is around, you'd want to be able to connect to it, and a person who just arrived will think, I'm a guest, I should connect to the guest network.
Sure.
So now if you go to a website that you would normally use, like Yelp.com,
Okay.
and normally what happens when you go to a website just after you log into a hotel network, it says, oh, please log in, you're a new user. So here it's asking for your room number and last name, which we normally do. And actually I can see information show up here. And so part of the attack is that it tries to convince you that you need to do an update. Your machine is out of date, it's vulnerable. So you want to click on the download button because it's sort of convincing you to do this. And once you've executed, that's it. You already have been exploited. I can see it here. It says Aditya's MacBook. Let's say if I want to take a screenshot of your of your webcam, right?
Okay.
So I have a special command here for essentially accessing your little camera right here. If I say execute, there we go.
I just saw a green light pop up there for a second.
For a second, but now it's already too late. And I already know what's going on around you.
Oh, wow.
There we go. This particular attack, it recorded the picture, but you can actually record the video. You can also record sound if you wanted to.
That's really disturbing.
You can execute things on the behalf. So what I'm going to try to do is actually open the calculator application. Here we go.
There's my calculator. It just popped up.
I can basically execute any types of commands I want on your behalf.
So what can people do to protect themselves?
You should sort of be on the lookout for anytime you sort of do an action and then the computer asks you to do something on your behalf. Like, you downloaded something and said, hey, please enter your password. If you didn't expect that to happen, maybe you should kind of stand back a little bit and say, well, does it normally happen when I log into a Wi-Fi access point? Or if you are logging into a network and you didn't expect to be redirected to an update page, you should kind of stand back a little bit and say, actually, I'm not going to download this until I go home and I can trust my Wi-Fi.
Well, thank you so much. Great to see this.
Glad to have the opportunity to hack your machine.
Thanks.
Hey there, thanks for Nakamute po kayo, Ma'am Sinek.
Ay, okay. So, yon. I hope everybody can hear me. So, I hope that everybody was able to gain knowledge on how a hacker can infiltrate your personal device. So, by connecting to a suspicious router or malicious router, they be able to gain access on your laptop, controlling also your camera, and then install a malware on your device. So at a wrong click of a button, kaya kailangan dapat maging aware tayo dun sa mga activities na ganito. At least napag-ingatan natin yung mga sarili din natin. So they could get your login credentials. Actually, we had this exercise when I attended the Indo-Pacific Cybersecurity Week na we have hacked yung mga default yung may mga devices kasi, like for example a CCTV camera, hindi napalitan yung username and password ng CCTV camera. We were able to go in, and then yung CCTV camera pala na yun is nakatapat siya sa isang whiteboard which merong mga username and password na nakalagay doon. So with that, may mga sniffing tools kami na ginawa, and then dahil nakita namin yung username and password, na-infiltrate namin yung system na yun. But these exercises was, we have performed it on a controlled environment. So hindi siya yung, yung tawag dito, uncontrolled environment na parang sa internet. Pero, kailangan dapat matuto din tayo to change yung mga username and password, lalo na yung mga router natin. Kasi they can be easily searched through the internet, lalo na yung mga passwords na, yung mga routers na ini-install ni PLDT or ni Globe sa mga bahay natin. They could be easily Google kung ano yung username and password doon. So, one of the is palitan na lang natin yung mga username and password. I think kaya naman through research makita ninyo how you can change those yung SSID and username and passwords when you enter dun sa router na yun. So moving forward, okay, number 3 is password attack. Sa palagay ninyo, sinong cyber threat actor ang gumagawa nitong password attack? Anyone? Siguro ang minimum level nito, sasabihin ko na ba? Yung minimum level. The minimum level ng cyber threat actor natin na gumagamit ng password attack is yung mga script kiddies natin. Why? There are several password attacks na inano natin. One of them is the brute force attack. It involves, parang it's a trial and error na it's a trial and error na kumbaga parang hinuhulaan niya yung password. Kaya nga sinabing brute force kasi hinuhulaan niya. Kumbaga parang lang is tawag dito, meron lang siyang certain characters. Kunwari, password is may certain characters lang siya. And kinukuha niya lahat ng combination ng password na yon hanggang sa makuha niya yung tama. Also, a dictionary attack. This is a dictionary of common passwords. So, ano ba yung mga common passwords na, natin? Password 1, 2, 3. Ano tawag dito? Yun yung mga common password na kailangan nating i-avoid. Kasi, somehow, the attackers have a list of those passwords na nagamit nila previously. So, kaya nga, encourage natin or we suggest that you change your password often para and then when you change your password, please do not use yung mga previous passwords na ginamit ninyo. Kasi most of the time, they have a list also kung ano na yung password na nagamit ninyo. Number 3, dun sa password attack is yung key logging. So it relies on a piece of malware. So very careful kayo dun sa mga ini-insert ninyong mga USB. Sometimes those USB or kahit let's say kung sa desktop computer ninyo, gumagamit kayo ng keyboard, pag in-insert ninyo yung to connect your keyboard, nag-aano siya, tawag dito, nag-record siya ng mga strokes, keyboard strokes ninyo. So very aware, be aware of that kasi nakakakuha siya ng password on username and password. At pwede niyang i-try using the brute force attack. So be careful sa mga ini-insert nating mga peripherals sa ating mga devices. Okay, next, password attack. So how long does it take to crack a password? This is a parang lang po, what do you call this? Parang tinignan niya kasi kung let's say when you have a 7-character password and then you do not use the alphanumeric plus the special what do you call this? Special characters, and pag simple lang po is the hackers or the cyber threat actors can guess your password in as fast as 10 minutes. Kung lang siya, simple lang siya. But if you employ yung alphanumeric characters with special characters and a uppercase and lowercase, your 7-character password can be guessed as fast as 1 month and 2 weeks. Compared naman doon sa 10 minutes, no. But if you employ a much longer password, let's say for example, you employed by the way, can you see my screen? No. I'll share again my screen. I'm sorry, I was not able to share my screen. Okay, going back, ito yung aming parang statistics on how does it take to crack your password. So sabi ko when it's versus complex, a 7-character password without the alphanumeric and the upper and lowercase, it can be cracked as fast as 9.5 to 10 minutes. So if you employ a special character and you have employed also the uppercase and the lowercase, the 7-character password can be cracked as fast as 1 month and 2 weeks. But if you use a longer password, let's say for example a 12-character password, and then you employ only simple password without the uppercase, the lowercase, the alphanumeric characters, without the special characters, your 12-character password can be cracked as fast as 2 centuries. So imagine that if kung kunwari merong hacker na brute force attack yung nagamit niya, they could be able to parang ilang lifetime yung ika-crack niya using brute force attack. Tatagal siya ng dalawang centenaryo. So at least na-protect niya na yung sarili. What more if you employ yung special characters, also with high-end lowercase and uppercase, and then you also have employed the special characters. It your password can be cracked, 15,000 millennia. So, ilang lifetimes yung 15,000 millennia? Siguro, kung nag-travel tayo sa solar system, baka nakailang balik pa rito na tayo, na ganun katagal niya makrack yung password natin. So, we suggest that you employ a 12-character password and then use alphanumeric plus special characters. Okay, another cyber threat is phishing. Excuse me. So phishing, they trick users into clicking on malicious links and opening unknown attachments. Usually, they use it sa emails na, meron daw, merong sale, ganito, or, buy 2, take 3, yung, para to trick the person on clicking that link and getting those information. Usually, the banks, many have reported yung mga banks natin, like for example, BPI, they trick us yung mga phishing emails na, pero hindi naman si BPI ang nag-ano nito. Please be reminded or take note that banks do not, they do not want to get your passwords. Sa inyo yan, yung passwords na yan, hindi yan tinatanong ng mga bangko. Pag tinanong yan ng mga bangko, kumbaga magtanong na kayo, totoo bang galing to dun sa legit na bangko na yung email na to. So, yun yung parang itanong nyo na sa sarili ninyo na usually yung mga bangkong ito, hindi naman nila ginagawa yung mga ganitong klaseng mga emails. Usually the banks or yung mga legit na companies, they send you an email pero na meron nakalagay doon na you do not reply to this email. Parang ganon. So at least at least aware na kayo kung ano yung mga paano yung behavior din ng mga companies. Usually behavior ng companies when they send through the email. And then number 5, the DDoS or the DOS attack. This typically uses computer and internet connection to flood yung target system natin or server natin. So usually the DOS and DDoS attack, this is a weapon of choice of yung mga hacktivists natin na kinokontrol nila yung pagpunta natin dun sa kailangan nating server. Let's say for example sa website na lang. If it takes a lot of time to load yung website na yan, probably you've been attacked by DOS or DDoS. Tignan nyo na lang, let's say kunwari, you usually go to that website and then it takes a lot of time to load yung website na yan compared to your previous experiences before na ang bilis mag-load. So, ibig sabihin nun, pinupuno niya na yung tubo na papunta dun sa ano na yun para hindi ka na makadaan. Ganun po yung DOS and DDoS attacks. Okay? So, cybercrime. So, cybercrime is also known as a computer-related crime. It involves a computer and a network, and the computer may have been used in the commission of a crime, or it may be targeted. So, usually these cybercrimes, usually na activity niyan is mga ransomware, yung malware, and then they gain, kumbaga they wanted a financial gain about dun sa kanilang behavior and activity. So the term, it was first coined by William Gibson in 1982, and it's popularized by his 1984 novel Neuromancer. So I hope, actually ako hindi ko pa nababasa yung book na yan, pero I would like to, probably I'll read that in the future po for another, for a reference po ulit. Okay, so moving forward, these are the cyber threat attacks, cyber threats in the Philippines during pandemic. Hindi pa naman siya attack, pero these are the common cyber threats in the Philippines. So we have listed 3. So may fake news, social media scam, and phishing. So on the fake news, the Cybersecurity Bureau has provided an advisory. The spreading of fake news is a crime. So we have a law on that. It's Republic Act 11469. It penalizes those individuals or creating, perpetuating, or spreading false information regarding COVID-19. So usually when you see yung mga ganitong you can report yung fake news na yan. Sa NCERT, we have those contact numbers here. Sa ncert.gov, we also have yung email address, and we have also some hotline numbers here. You may wanted to get a screenshot or get a copy by using your phone to take a picture. And then we also have the Facebook and the Twitter and the cybersec.gov.ph. So it promotes kasi a chaos, anarchy. So magulo na nga yung mundo, then dadagdagan pa natin. So kailangan dapat maging magaling tayong mapanuri. And then number 2 is social media scam. So the Cybersecurity Bureau were able to provide yung mga advisory na to. There have been fraudulent practice of social media, and the Cybersecurity Bureau urges the public to observe following cybersecurity tips. So later on, we'll discuss yung mga cybersecurity tips. But let me show to you another video about the social media scam. Actually, I got this video to be able to illustrate lang to you how does the social media scam work and how does it affect yung ating mga organization. So let me share to you again another video. Right. I hope you can hear. Can you confirm if you can hear any audio?
All right. Let's check out my new requests. You're okay. Oh, you look good. I gotta have you. Oh, you're fantastic. All right. And this glass guy, I don't remember you, but I'll add you anyway. Alright, so I've got a bunch of project managers, a few marketing managers, and one account director. And my network is growing like crazy. Soon, my career is gonna take off. What, you don't believe me? Alright, check this out. Do you know who Ron Ferguson is? He added me to his network. Think about it.
I'm Rick Ferguson. No relation to Ron. And certainly no relation to this guy. He's a criminal hiding behind a fake profile to collect valuable information. This is Dave. You may have noticed he's really happy to extend his social network. He's reckless though. He accepts almost every invitation, including Ron's fake one. This is pretty basic stuff. Anyone can do it. Ron's looking through Dave's posts, his comments and photos. You can see where he went to school and who with, who he socializes with, what he does in his free time, even what projects he's working on. Dave's profile is an open book. Ron can see whatever he needs and use it to his advantage. Dave is an attacker's dream. He's almost addicted to sharing every detail of his life with hundreds of strangers. Sound like anyone you know? We all use social networks, and if you're careless, it becomes very easy to gather this much data. Dave might think it's fun sharing everything that he does, but to people like Ron, it's a golden opportunity. They take advantage of your oversharing, and before you know it, they have access to your entire life. And even though you're giving it away for free, you may well end up paying for it. Gathers intelligence on an organization through its employees and uses it to his advantage. Right now he's writing an email to Dave's boss with a very interesting proposition. A simple online search has also turned up documents which reveal exactly which version of office software the target organization is using. Embedding malicious code in his fake spreadsheet is the work of seconds. In fact, there's an app for that. You might think this kind of thing only happens in films, but in reality, most attacks use social engineering, creating a credible pretext to fool the victim into doing something unwise. A momentary lapse of judgment, and Ron has the access that he needed. He moves carefully through the network, searching for more systems and data. This won't be a quick hack. Ron wants long-term access to sensitive data that he can sell on the criminal underground. Maybe it's a credit card database. Maybe it's a project in which the company is heavily invested. In the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it could have been prevented. Unfortunately for Dave, the investigation discovered his social media posts and followed the trail of evidence that led to the breach. Remember, you're just as responsible for the security of your company's data as you are for your own. Building your social network can of course be valuable, but don't connect with just anyone. Think twice before you post. If you wouldn't be happy shouting it in the middle of a crowded street, then don't post it online. And when you do share, make sure you tightly control the audience. Follow your company's security policies, and of course, be careful of unsolicited messages or content that you receive. Most important of all, just use your head. Don't be a Dave. I'm Rick Ferguson from Trend Micro. Thanks for watching.
Sinag naka-off po yung mic niyo.
Hello ma'am, naka-mute ka po.
Ma'am Shine, naka-mute po yung mic.
Nakamute pala. Sorry po pala. Okay, so going back dun sa ating presentation. So sabi nga natin dun sa video na napanood natin, sabi just use your head. Be able to have a discernment dun sa mga ginagawa nating mga bagay. Because as all we know, yung oversharing natin dun sa Facebook or sa mga social media sites natin, it could lead to a cyber threat attack. Now, hindi niya kilala yung nag-add sa kanya sa Facebook, but of course, add na lang siya ng add ng mga tao, not knowingly na yung taong na-add niya is a malicious and suspicious enough not to trust yung mga ginagawa niya sa buhay. But Dave has been oversharing kung ano yung mga ginagawa niya, and not knowingly na share niya na yung mga confidential information like yung username and password. So we do not suggest na ilagay niyo yung username and password niyo sa mga nakapost it sa mga laptops ninyo or sa mga desktop computers ninyo. Kasi somehow, hindi natin masabi, let's say may nag-picture kayo dyan, na-caught up, nasama siya dun sa frame ng picture at na-share ninyo. So, yun yung one of the social engineering attacks na tumitingin lang siya sa mga pinopost nyo on social media. As well as, ano pa ba yung mga points na inano natin doon? You are just responsible as yung company natin when in terms of the cybersecurity, medyo may lapse on judgment yung si Dave doon na he tried to share kung ano man yung mga projects na involved siya. And then sabi nga nung just use your head, don't be a Dave. So yun po. Kailangan dapat marunong tayo magkaroon ng discernment sa mga ginagawa nating mga bagay. And then okay, so tatlo is yung phishing. So also the Cybersecurity Bureau has been able to do an advisory, yung parang a reminder lang po. Kung nakatanggap ka ba ng email galing sa Netflix or mga bangko, marunong ka bang sumuri kung lehitimo ba to o hindi? Actually, I have gusto niyo pa ba ng video? Pwede po ako magpa-show pa ng video. I have one. Paano ba yung phishing? Kung ano ba nagaganap? Ano ba yung mga behaviors ng phishing na to? So I would like to present to you again yung isang video pa. Ito. This is from U-Secure channel. Ito po. Okay, I hope everybody can hear this and able to view the video. Please confirm it na lang.
Friday is Rob's favorite day of the week. Well, usually it is. It'll take him hours to get through all those blasted emails. Problem. Couldn't just one email be about something else? Wait, what's this? Miracle hair growth cream? Have Rob's dreams finally come true? All Rob needs to do is follow the link and give up all his personal information and a little selfie inside the office. Ah, not quite quick enough, my poor chap. A full head of hair eludes you once again. Well, it's time for home now. Rob may not have won, but at least he doesn't have anything to worry about for Monday morning. Rob is ready to take on another week of work. Josie doesn't look quite so happy though. What's this? A data breach? Someone gave up all their personal information to a cybercriminal? Surely it couldn't have been from a miracle hair growth quiz? Oh dear. Let's rewind a bit and see what went wrong. Rob received an unexpected email but didn't stop to think. The email wasn't from a misunderstood genius behind a miracle cream at all, but from a cyber criminal. A criminal that sends out fake emails to try and fish for credentials or private information. This is called phishing. The information can then be used to impersonate you, access private data, or send out further phishing emails to your colleagues. But how could Rob have known it was a phishing email? Let's take a closer look. Any unexpected email you receive should be analyzed with caution. Check the domain name of the email to see if it looks like the email is from a legitimate source. Look out for mistakes or misspelling in the email, a rare occurrence in emails from legitimate companies. It's not looking good, is it, Rob? Anytime you are asked to give up personal details, exercise a high level of caution. Think about whether you trust who you are giving this information to. If an email claims to be very urgent or important, You should take a step back and consider whether it is trying to get you to overlook your normal good judgment. And if you're ever not completely sure if an email is legitimate, it never hurts to double check with the IT department. They'll be there to help you whenever you need them. Phishing emails are fake emails created by cybercriminals that are disguised as legitimate communications from real people or companies. Cybercriminals send out phishing emails in an attempt to make you hand over private information or credentials. Falling for a phishing email could give a cybercriminal access to your company's data, systems, or network. An illegitimate domain name and incorrect spelling are some of the common telling signs of phishing emails. Most importantly, you should think twice whenever an email tries to create a sense of urgency or asks you to hand over any information, usernames, or passwords.
Okay. So, napansin niyo ba dun sa dalawang video na pinalabas ko is lagi nilang sinasabi na exercise caution dun sa mga videos na yun. You have to have your discernment because lalo na yung mga ganyang klaseng phishing emails, parang they wanted us to act on it urgently. And then, yun nga, pag sinusuri natin yung email, please make sure na yung sa domain, sabi nga nung sa video, yung sa domain, i-check nyo yung domain, kung legit ba yung domain. Also, dun sa body of text ng email, usually the companies, or if the companies are legit, parang sina-check na nila yung grammar, sina-check nila yung mga spelling. Kasi those companies, lalo na yung mga legit ones, they do not wanted yung reputation nila will be online. Kumbaga, yung reputation nila, they do not want to damage their reputation. So, okay, moving forward. So, sabi nga natin, dun sa mga videos na pinakita ko kanina, the rushing and lack of awareness, it makes a perfect setting of a cyber attack or a cyber crime. So, kailangan dapat kalma lang tayo, chill lang po tayo when acting on dun sa mga sales or sa mga offers na ganyan. Because if it is good to be true, it probably isn't. So, yun po yung kailangan nating i-remember. So, sabi natin, okay, moving forward, sandali na lang po ito, how to be cyber safe in the new normal. So, sabi nga natin kanina, kailangan natin mag-back up. Kung nakita natin kanina doon sa isang case study natin, yung sa isang fintech industry, how they were able to recover is they have a backup of their files. So, usually, pagka in-attack tayo ng ransomware, ini-encrypt niya yung files, and then kailangan mo magbayad ng payment to be able to decrypt the files. But to be able to stop yung cyber attack na yan or their behavior, you have to have a backup of your files. So sabi natin, ito joke lang naman po ito. I heard you like backups, so we back up your backups. And then we have a 3-2-1 rule. You get 3 copies of your data. You store it to 2 locations, and then you keep 1 for yourself. Yun po yung 3-2-1 backup rule po. Also, number 2 is do secure browsing. Please make sure that lalo na sa mga bank transactions, sa mga iba't ibang klaseng, lalo na yung mga sensitive data, they use yung secured browsing, may HTTPS, and then meron po siyang lock dun sa ating address bar. Okay, and number 3 is use VPN. Actually, the VPN, this can be costly, but on an organizational setting, maaring let's say, yung IT natin is, or yung organization natin, nakapag-put up ng system, probably they have employed na yung VPN system nila. But we usually recommend this VPN, lalo na kung frequent traveler ka. Somehow kasi, tawag dito, let's say, sa iba't ibang countries na puntahan mo, may mga certain networks tayo doon na hindi natin alam kung ano yung kumbaga parang dahil foreigner tayo sa isang country, hindi natin alam. So better make use of VPN, lalo na when you're if you're a frequent traveler. Also, number 4, use antivirus. May tanong kami sa mga previous mga cybersecurity awareness seminars na ganito. Ano ba yung best antivirus? The best antivirus is what you have now. Kung ano man yung meron ka ngayon, that's the best antivirus. Lalo na kung wala, kung baga kunwari, tawag dito, best siya kaysa naman sa wala. Kaya, ang tip lang namin dito is that you get yung updates as much as possible, mag-update kayo kasi yung antivirus na meron kayo ngayon, lalo na pagka mga crack antivirus yung mga ginamit ninyo, usually yan on the year before pa yan. And then when you employ patches, kasi syempre, the cyber criminals or the attacks, as parang pagkapatagal na patagal, is nagiging lume-level up din sila. Kumari, let's say, for example, the patch that you had last year may not be able to work kung ano man today, yung patch ninyo, what you have, kung ano yung patch ninyo last year, ng 2020, might not work today. Kasi most probably nag-evolve na rin yung mga malwares din natin. So, hindi niya na ma-detect, kung ano yung pinatch ni last year, baka hindi niya na ma-detect yung kung ano man yung mga threats ngayon. So, you have to update your antivirus as well as sabi ko nga kailangan mag-invest din tayo dun sa mga pag-iingat din natin, like for example yung mga disk drives din natin, investan din natin siya, the antivirus investan din po natin siya. These are probably these firewalls, these are we recommend to use this from the organization standpoint. At least man lang, na-filter out na nila yung mga suspicious or yung mga malicious activities po dun sa firewall. So, hindi na nila pinapadaan dun sa network nila, papasok dun sa organization nila. And then, number 6, use strong password. As I've mentioned earlier, this is a strong password. Try to have a password that is 12 characters.
Walang presentation.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So we are number 6 now. So use strong password. So sabi nga namin, dito, try to employ a 12-character password. At least man lang, the 12-character password na yun, and then you employ also the alphanumeric and the uppercase and the lowercase. They could be cracked as fast as 15,000 millennia. So at least yung kumbaga doon sa mga brute force, they would take some time to crack your password. Also, sorry. Okay. Wait lang po Okay. Secure your devices. So kanina I've mentioned earlier that the devices that we own, from 16 to 64 internet users, that we have a 98% of us owns a smartphone, and then 77% of us owns a laptop or a desktop device. So secure our devices. So be careful what you plug into your devices. As I've mentioned earlier, the USB that you plug into your devices might have a malware, and then hindi natin nalaman na nag-install na pala siya doon sa ating system. Also, don't mindlessly install third-party apps directly from the internet. As much as possible, you review yung mga reviews, let's say sa App Store or sa Google Play. Meron naman siyang mga stars, and then meron siyang mga reviews. At as much as possible, before you install those apps, make sure to read yung mga comments nila doon sa app na i-install ninyo. Kasi kung let's say 3 stars lang siya, medyo magtaka na kayo, bakit 3 stars lang siya? Kasi kumbaga parang hindi siya maganda, na-review na ibang users, it's buggy. So, please take note of that. And also, syempre, kung legit man, let's say for example, Facebook doesn't want to ruin their reputation. So, at least makakasigurado kayo, let's say, doon sa isang app na yon, na tawag dito, yung pangalan ng kumpanya is nakataya doon. They do not want you to ruin your reputation. Kasi, paano sila magkakaroon ng base client na babalikan sila. And then, letter C, do not forget to patch your operating systems, lalo na kung may mga bagong updates tayo ng patches, because sabi nga natin kanina, pagka yung virus na yan, when you patch it last year, 2020, the threats now ng 2021 might not filter out yung threats na yun ng 2020 kasi outdated na yung patches ninyo. So you have to update as well yung patches, because let's say, for example, si Microsoft, inaaral din naman niya yung mga threats na yan. And then, kumbaga parang nagre-release sila ng mga patches to secure yung mga ongoing threats ngayon. So you have to update your operating systems. Letter D, be mindful in connecting to free public Wi-Fi networks. As I've mentioned, I've presented earlier, may mga man-in-the-middle attack yan, yung mga routers na nagsisniff ng information, and then usually, ang sinasabi nga nung kanina sa video is if you have, parang pagka may duda ka na doon sa, sa pag-connect ng network na yun, may mga pinapa-download sa'yo, better yet, wag ka nang mag-connect sa kanya. And siguro mas maganda kung you use your home network, at least alam niyo na safe po kayo doon. Number 8, use your online account, secure your online accounts. So, on our online accounts, like for example, email and yung mga social media accounts natin, most of them have the multi-factor authentication. Please make use of that. At least man lang, kung may nagtatry na pumasok dun sa Facebook account niyo or sa mga social media accounts natin, at least ma-alert tayo na may nagtatry na pumasok. And then, syempre, pagka this is parang another layer of protection from you for the cyber threat attacks. So, let's say, for example, di ba ka dito sa isang device and then lumipat ka sa isang device, at least alam mo na ikaw yung gumagawa nun. But pag may nag-alert sa'yo na may pumapasok, baka ina-attack ka na. At least alam mo, aware ka sa sarili mo na ina-attack ka na. Hindi mo i-allow yung person na yun na ma-access mo ma-access niya yung account mo. So you can click cancel. And then letter B, only add people that you know. So sabi nga natin kanina, yung sa video natin about kay Dave, inaano nga niya, ina-add niya kung sino-sino na lang. Not knowingly na ang na-add niya is isang cyber threat actor. And then nagkaroon siya ng access dun sa buhay niya. So if you can't resist na mag-post ng ganito, make sure na lang na ang viewers ng post mo is mga friends and family mo. Meron namang mga may mga settings naman sa Facebook kung sino makakakita lang ng mga pinost mo. And letter C, sabi natin, do not do ATM. But if you have money sa ATM, pwede ka naman mag-withdraw. What I meant on the ATM is do not do yung at the moment. Kasi kung let's say, kung may na-add ka na hindi mo alam na suspicious na yung na-add mo. And then nag-post ka ng maraming, nag-share ka kung, umalis ako, nagpunta ako ng Baguio, nagpunta kami ng Boracay, nagpunta kami ng Davao, ganito, ganyan. So, at the moment ka, at syempre, tapos nilagay mo pa doon na I'm with my family going to Baguio, ganito. So, kung cybercriminal ka, alam nila na wala kang tao sa bahay mo. They could get yung opportunity na yun na wala kayo at pasukin yung bahay ninyo. So, as much as possible, do not do at the moment na mga posting. If you can't, this is the urge. I-post mo na lang siya after your trip. Let's say, for example, napunta ka Baguio, bumalik ka na kahapon, pwede mo na i-post ngayon. Pero wag naman yung pumunta ka ng Baguio ngayon, pinost mo rin ngayon. So, kung hindi mo talaga yung urge, saka na lang, kasi pwede naman ipagpaliban yung activity ng pagpo-post natin. Number 9. Okay. Privacy and decency. Sometimes kasi, the privacy and decency, meron tayong mga tinatawag na kina-catfish. So, lalo na sa mga TikTokers natin dyan, kung napapansin ninyo, nagiging mas wild yung mga nagti-TikTokers na almost kailangan nila magpakita ng skin para magkaroon sila ng maraming viewers, magkaroon sila ng maraming subscribers. Now, as much as possible, we wanted yung internet not to have yung mga ganitong klaseng kasi it poses a lot of threats, lalo na sa mga catfishing. So, pwedeng magamit yung picture ninyo, yung video ninyo, and then pwede silang mag-post as ikaw, nagkaroon sila ng identity theft. If you have watched yung sa Netflix, what do you call this, yung The Circle, actually it's a series, contestant sila parang Big Brother house, pero hindi sila nakikita-kita. They have their own apartment, pero meron lang parang social media na to connect with others. Somehow, yung ibang contestant doon is nagpapanggap sila na sila yung nasa picture, ibang-iba sila sa picture. Let's say, for example, isang magandang babae sila dun sa picture nila dun sa The Circle, pero in reality, lalaki siya. So, ang gusto lang niya is magka-catfish lang siya para ma-fall yung mga nandun sa The Circle. Kasi merong somehow, kapag hindi nila nakuha yung identity mo, mananalo ka ng prize. So, number 10 is awareness and attitude of distrust. Hindi na tayo magtitiwala, no? Pero ang sinasabi lang natin dito is you have to exercise yung caution dun sa mga bagay na ginagawa natin. Kailangan kasi may sense of judgment tayo. And kasi sabi nga natin, rushing and momentarily lapse of judgment could lead into a attack. But it could have been prevented na hindi mo lang siya tawag dito. Kumbaga parang sumuri ka pa, nag-research ka pa. Let's say, parang may nag-add sa'yo ng friend sa social media account mo. Marami ba kayong common friends or marami ba kayong mutual friends? Or probably siguro tawag dito, nag-meet kayo sa isang, let's say for example, from this webinar, nag-meet lang kayo dun sa webinar and then in-add mo siya as friend. Wag mo naman siya i-add agad. Kumbaga parang pwede mo naman din siya i-message na, ikaw ba to? Parang tanongin mo naman siya magtanong ka naman ng kahit papaano na at least man lang makikita niya or parang gini-verify mo lang kung siya ba nga ba talaga yung na-meet mo dun sa mga webinar na yon. Okay, and then number 11 is report and ask help from authorities. I would like you to get a screen capture of this. If you have your phones, you may get a picture of this. These are yung cyber complaint points of contact natin. There is the DICT National Computer Emergency Response Team. They have their Facebook page, their email, and then their contact numbers. Also, nandito rin si Philippine National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group. So they have their contact numbers as well. The National Bureau of Investigation, Cybercrime Division. So they have their contact numbers. The National Privacy Commission, I hope sana one of these days gawa din tayo ng another webinar on this about the data privacy. So these are the contact numbers of the National Privacy Commission. And also, kung kailangan na talaga nasa court level na, pwede na sa Department of Justice, Office of the Cybercrime. So yun lang po. And as I would like to give yung quote lang ko na to, as the world is increasingly interconnected, everyone shares the responsibility of securing cyberspace. And then, cybersecurity is not inexpensive compared to the cost of a cyber attack. So, I hope that you have learned kahit konti, at maraming salamat po sa pakikinig ninyo sa akin for about 1.5 hours already. So thank you very much and have a good day. Have a meaningful and long weekend ahead of us. Thank you very much po and mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you so much, Engineer Abelio, for that. At this point, we will be proceeding with our Q&A portion. So, if there are questions that you would like to ask to our intelligent resource person, well versed with the topic, you may now have the questions raised to her. Actually, Ma'am Abelio, there are questions in the chat box that are posted. So one of the questions from Professor Padilla, she has here, how effective is our cybersecurity strategy at addressing business risks? That's one of her questions, Ma'am Abello.
Okay. Sige po. How effective is our cybersecurity strategy at addressing business risks? It depends on the, what do you call this? It depends on the organization. But in the ICT perspective, we are on one of our mandates is to organize or engage with our critical infrastructure operators na to have their own incident management response team as well. And then this incident response team, their computer emergency response team, will be connected to the sectoral leads na we have defined in the Department Order 003 of 2020. Then, ang overall po nitong mga sectoral leads po na to is the National Computer Emergency Response Team under the Cybersecurity Bureau. So, on the matter of the reporting or the reporting level, at least man lang dun sa industry or in their sector, kasi iba-iba po kasi yung attacks in each sector. Maybe kung sa banking, iba yung attack nila, hindi nila mararamdaman yan on the power industry or in the water industry or in the BPO industry. So kaya po in-organize namin itong mga critical infrastructure operators po natin is just because para magkaroon sila ng common ground on the reporting on what, kumbaga, best practices as well as yung mga incident reporting on their level. Kung hindi na talaga kaya ng ito from the sector leads or dun sa CI operators, then they could elevate it to the National Computer Emergency Response Team. So yun po yung strategy po ni government on securing our cyberspace po.
Okay, thank you po. Thank you, Ma'am Abelio, for the response. Actually, that question came from one of the viewers on YouTube. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, there's another question by Don Ramos. I don't know if this question really comes from him or because it's on the chat box. So it says here, what is your suggested app for antivirus home use, especially that are for always who are online?
Okay, so as I've mentioned earlier, what is the best antivirus? The best antivirus is what you have now versus on yung sa wala ka namang antivirus. So if you do not have, kumbaga parang you have to shell out kasi money to buy antivirus to be updated. So let's say kunwari, you're using your Windows 10 device, meron tayong Windows Defender, they could be suffice enough to be able to have yung antivirus natin. Pwede naman tayong gumamit ng ibang third party or other antivirus, but we do not parang disregard namin na or hindi namin ina-advise na mag-use po tayo ng mga crack softwares. Kasi baka nandun kasi minsan yung attack eh. Mas maganda na magbayad tayo kaysa naman, and then makakasigurado kayo dun sa company quality, sa quality ng product na ano, kasi back up ba yan ng, let's say for example, si Trend Micro, si Kaspersky, or si what else, yun, backup kayo ng reputation ng company na to do good versus dun sa mga crack softwares na malay mo baka mga malicious pa yun or suspicious in content pa po. So at least siguro if you don't have any money to shell out, probably yung ating Windows Defender okay na po siya. None at all.
Thank you for that reply, Engineer Abelio. I think with your sharing, which is very informative and educative one, I think everything is clear now as regards how we can protect ourselves from cyber attacks or cyber threats. Now, for our participants, if you still have questions in mind, feel free to use the Q&A form at URL https://bit.ly/duaqa-cyberdigipar. Thank you so much, Engineer Abelio. So you really deserve a warm round of applause. Thank you so
very much.
At this point, we will now be hearing the closing remarks from our dear and supported principal of the laboratory schools of University of Rizal System Morong, Professor Sinyabi Canale.
To our University President, Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Alan E. Conde, Professor Wilmer Villa, Principal of Laboratory Schools Tanay, Engineer Marvin Bakiran, our University MIS, Engineer Reynaldo T.C., Director DICT Luzon Regional Cluster 2, Mr. Carlo Gabriel Abad, from DICT Rizal Provincial Office, Engineer Maria Sinag Abelia, our guest speaker, the DICT team, our URS family, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today, we are very blessed because we are given the opportunity to become knowledgeable on the importance of cybersecurity. Our speaker and the DICT empowered us and helped us to be protected in cyberspace, especially nowadays that we are adopting the online classes for this school year and maybe by next school year. With a very informative lecture of our speaker, I know that we are smart enough to face the challenges of cybersecurity, and no one from you be left behind on the information learned or acquired from our speaker. With that, we would like to thank the URS family headed by our University President, Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, and of course the DICT team headed by Engineer Reynaldo T.C. for giving us the opportunity to be part of this activity. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Hoping for a more fruitful partnership in the future to our learners, specifically to the young generations. Again, good day and mabuhay.
Thank you, Ma'am Canale. At this juncture, another closing remarks will be given to us by the zealous and able provincial head of DICT Rizal, Engineer Carlo Gabriel Abad.
Thank you po. Good morning to all our participants and viewers. I would like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, University President, and Dr. Alan Conde, Vice President for Academic Affairs of the University of Rizal System. Thank you very much for supporting this webinar. Also, our special thanks to our resource speaker, Engineer Maria Sinag Biabello, for sharing her knowledge about cybersecurity awareness. Sana po lahat tayo may bagong natutunan tungkol sa wastong paggamit ng websites. Please like and share the official Facebook page of the Rizal Provincial Office for upcoming activities and webinars. I hope that each of us will be responsible netizen. Once again, thank you and good morning to all. Stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Abad. Dear participants, please be guided and reminded about this. Certificates will be provided to those who have attended the full duration of webinar and answered the post-evaluation form. Input valid and active email address when filling out the post-evaluation form. Cut-off time is tomorrow at 4 o'clock p.m. Replay at URL http://www.youtube.com/cyberseclc2. So make sure you have filled out the attendance form at https://bit.ly/du-att-cyber. So for the post-evaluation form, make sure you have answered this http://bit.ly/du www.du-eval-cyber. So, follow us on Facebook. So, Department of Information and Communications Technology, DICT, at DICT.gov.ph, Department of Information and Communications Technology, Luzon, Cluster 2, at DICT.lc2, DICT Cybersecurity at Cybersec.gov.ph, DICT Rizal at DICT Rizal, DICT Cybersecurity Luzon Cluster 2 at cybersec.lc2, University of Rizal System, the President's Post at the President's Post, University of Rizal System, URS Office of Public Affairs at opa.urs, URS Tanay Laboratory High School at URS Tanay Laboratory High School, URS Laboratory Schools, https://www.facebook.com/ursm-laboratory schools-108364690914839. And with that, we will end today's webinar with this quote from Newton Lee: "As the world is increasingly interconnected, everyone shares the responsibility of securing cyberspace." Thank you for attending our webinar. Thank you, God, DICT, and University of Rizal System for this important event. We also thank those who have in one way helped in making this event a successful one. Goodbye, everyone. Keep safe and God bless us all.